Welcome to No One Tells You This. I'm Laura Massetti. Most career advice assumes the path is already there, and your job is to walk into it well. My guest built her path. No one handed her a map, no one gave her permission, no one was there to catch her if it didn't work. She did it anyway, for 27 years, all the way to the C-suite. And then she walked away to start over. Please welcome Susy Goitia. Susy, welcome. I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you invited me. I think it's going to be fun and we will have a lot of great conversations today. So thank you.
You're so welcome. So, I want to provide some additional context on you, your background, your path. So, if you can share with the audience, what's your path? How'd you get here? Tell us your story.
Well, I am a Venezuelan woman that moved to Mexico so many years ago in 2002. Yeah, I did a great career in corporate for 27 years, worked for multinational companies like PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, and Polar. That is a Venezuelan company that is around the world as well. And after 27 years of corporate career between marketing and general management, in my last assignment I was president of Coca-Cola of Ecuador. I decided to jump, when COVID hit and everyone thought about, well, what's my life? What going on with my life? What I want to do next? So I thought, this is it, like it's just corporate and raise a family. And I decided to jump into the entrepreneurial world. So I started my own company, escalating for countries. And then I realized that, well, I'm doing the same, fast moving consumer good, just with healthy products. And I started the fascinating world of advisory and services, which is more connected to my passion and my purpose of make others grow through my knowledge and some things that I learned from big companies. So now this is my path. In my path, I advise companies and leaders to grow using all the methodologies and learnings that I have and a lot of heart. I really believe that when you connect with humans, you make a difference in their life and their companies. So it's everything about mindset. So that's me.
I love that. I love that. And you have a jammed packed resume. It's a little hard to follow. It's all over the place, different countries, different companies. So tell me, how has it been transitioning and changing more or less who you are professionally throughout your career?
Well, the other day I was talking with an aunt and she says, Susie, you have always have gypsy soul. It's crazy, right? Because you like moving. And I think there's something there because as far as I know myself better, I realized that I was raised in an environment in where my father worked for oil companies. So we were moving all the time. I got this facility, this easiness to, managing change and uncertainty that, but by the way, now we are on uncertain times with AI and technology and all the disruption. But what is interesting is that when you have this mindset of growing, learning, and exploring, I love to explore, to learn new things. So you start planning a career that is international and involved in different projects, different critical experience, different assignment with different people that will take you to the next and the next level. And I need to tell you, I mean, probably the first 10 years of my career, I didn't plan much. I was, navigating the river in the flow and learning about that. But then I realized the power of planning in your career and define, what I want to do, but what I want to do in the personal and professional, I, mix that to create like a better fulfilled life. But I guess you don't know what you don't know sometimes, right? So you just see the corporate and then I started looking at the other side of the world in the entrepreneurial venture, the business women that I met in the journey. And I saw like, I can do that too. Like the world is full of
Yeah.
opportunities. So yeah, I've been like working in projects for the 5 continents all around the world, living in different places. When people ask me, where are you from? I mean, I'm born in Venezuela, but I'm Mexican, but I live in Ecuador, but I did project in Costa Rica, in Colombia, in Brazil. So I mean, I say, I'm Latin. And people say, okay, yeah, you are.
I mean, it's an amazing background. And I think that's a journey that many people envy. At the same time, think especially from a woman's perspective. They say, but how is this possible? So, share to me a little bit more on that because I think that for many women, they might find it a little unrelatable or unattainable for themselves. So, could you share a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. And I think you're right. I mean, I got this amazing career. I learned a lot, and I really appreciate all the companies that gave me these amazing opportunities. But I want to come back again on my childhood, because I grew up surrounded with a group of strong women. My mother had four sisters, and the five of them were called the Pentagon, because they ruled all the family decisions. So I grew up looking, at strong women, that professional women, that whatever they want, So for me, I didn't see any limits, never. Sometimes that is a problem because when you don't see it, I mean, you might have some of one or two, right?
Yeah.
But I guess let's start from that. When you really believe that you can do whatever you want in your life and you start to act and decide, make decision, what is the next step? What is the next step? And you see that you can, I think that create like a virtuous circle of reinforcement of I can do this, and one step follow the other and the other and the other. And when you add to that a little bit of strategy, I want to go that direction, and you start like moving and create your own path, with learnings, with skills, and you abilitate yourself for that growth. You can do everything. And that's really something important. But having said that, I started my career in Venezuela in marketing. And when Venezuela started with all the Chavez and, politics matter, I raised my hand and I say, I want to go to Mexico because in Mexico, we're the headquarters for PepsiCo. And Venezuela did great with, a joint venture between Polar and, and Jack Snacks with it was the local company. So Venezuelan talent we were like like great marketeers. So I was offered actually three positions to come to Mexico, and I have a very young baby, like just a newly born baby. And I decided for the position that I could manage that position and a baby, like I come into a new country, new industry, new everything, and a baby. So it's interesting because every step that you do in your career, you need to think carefully, what is the step that I'm doing if I'm going to handle with everything that I have, and create a system for organizing yourself to move, eventually, because every beginning have a, like some learning curve. And once you dominate that learning curve, you're ready for the other one. So I guess that's been key as a woman, because I never saw this, impossible. I
Yeah.
always enter in the room and, I have a point of view always. That was probably, one of the best advice that I received from a mentor, at some point that he told me. I asked him, what do you expect from me in this um, new position? And he said, always have a point of view. And I
Mm,
think that advice, I thought like, well, that's easy for me, because I'm opinionated and always have a point of view. But even if you are not like that, you do have a point of view always, So probably just show up to the world and show how you think and how you could do the things. It's something great. So I've been in positions in where I was the first female director. I've been in positioning where I had teams of 100% males. I've been negotiating $1 million budget with family owned business led by men, and and just men in the table, and even went to one facility of one company that they didn't even have like women bathrooms. Again, I was like, oh my goodness, if
my
you don't
goodness.
open a bathroom, I won't come back here because I need a bathroom. And he said, well, you can use mine in my office, right? So it's quite an experience, but I can summarize that in, you need to believe in yourself, and the best way to believe in yourself is to create that circle of affirmations, like positive
Hmm.
affirmations along your way, like first steps or baby steps, but you will feel that you can, you need that affirmation and then self-confidence just to push forward. I will say that is a very good advice. And the other thing is, dare to dream, because we probably, I mean, I think the world is like you see the Instagram, the social media, and you see perfect bodies, perfect life, millionaires, and you say, oh my goodness, I won't be that, I will never have that body. I will never travel that like that, or I will never buy that house. And the secret is, yes, you can. You just need to think big, think on, grow 10x instead of 10%. And then you create a plan and you follow your steps and you will get there sooner or later. So I guess these two advices have been part of my journey. And I will say the networking, that I call myself the network queen because I love it, but when you meet people and you are in communities and you start, just connecting to human to human, I always say the magic just happened, but it's not magic. It's like you are connecting with people that knows people, and then you can easily get whatever you want through networking, through other persons that will know what you do, who you are, and will connect with people. And in less than like a bit, or a thought, a second, you will be seated in places that you will never dream to be. So I believe in the magic of the networking as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why we're here, right? That's
Yeah,
how we met.
exactly. Yeah.
So there's something to be said for it, but a lot of people find that intimidating because you come across as an extrovert. So what advice could you give to people that, especially in a virtual world where it's really challenging to get past this fear of AI and how that impacts potential opportunities? Where would you advise for people to get started with
Yeah,
networking
and
for themselves?
I just had a conference on that, and it was amazing because everyone say, well, and for you it's easy, but it's not easy for me. And I say it's easy for anyone when you have a system. So I will share to you what does a system looks like. If you, I believe in the power of multipliers. If I can, do social media, right? But if I write in a magazine, I will get the social media of the magazine. So that is a multiplier for me, right? Like chambers, people that places that you attend or whatever. So first of all, we all have a natural network already. Friends, family, friends from your childhood, from university, people that you met in that party or in that training, whatever. Those are your and close network. So that those people knows people, right? And then you have social media as well to multiply that. So then there's a bigger scope of what your network can be. And then there's another layer of, I mean, what can help me to achieve my objectives, like a chamber, community, some type of activity, whatever that I call multiplier. So when you have that clear, you have the base that where to play. Like this is my play field. But then how do I approach people? And for me, this is like workout. I book the workout in my calendar. I have a system, and that's for companies as well, and for career. I mean, you have your check-ins or your weekly meetings, whatever. So you block that on your calendar and you say, well, I will start for 5 persons online. If you want to go through LinkedIn or through Instagram or whatever social media or your WhatsApp, at least approach, persons, like, so you can start creating something. And if you can do it personally, like have a coffee, have a lunch, or let's grab a cookie in the afternoon, whatever, or let's go for a walk. If you try to do it like that, like natural, is going to be easier. And then the other thing is, okay, okay, I get it, right? Like I know who to reach out. I know now that I need to reach out them, some people like every week. Then what I say, right? Like this is the set. They're always the same question. Okay, and then what? And I always say, connect with a human. Like how are you? How's your life? How are your kids? How is your family? If you know people, you know that they probably had a new baby or they got a new job or they were traveling, because we see everything in social media. What is a new person? You need to take time to read, the LinkedIn profile or whatever they're doing, or research something to be able to say, hey, I saw that you got a new position. That's great. That's fantastic. I am inspired by your career. And let me set you an example. I I follow a guy that was the president of Blue Mexico, right? So this guy changed career in his company, and now he's the Pinterest vice president of Latin America. And I
Wow.
saw a post that he was doing. I was really thinking, okay, I am doing advisory, educational content, but I use Pinterest, for fun. So can I use Pinterest for educational content? That would be great because all the other social media are, like crowded, and it's very easy to stand out. And maybe so I just craft an email and I say, hey, how are you? We have common friends, which is true. And I say, I follow your career and it's really inspiring all the moves that you have made along your way. Thinking on Pinterest because I love it and I've been a user like 10 years ago. Do you think I can use this for educational purpose? Is there someone on your team that can coach me on this? Or if you are open to accept me a coffee, I will be happy to invite you a coffee. And he answered, I don't know this guy. So he answered and he said, hey, Susie, thank you very much for your email. We are working on that. So we're not ready yet, but as soon as I have something, I will come back to you. Thank you for your interest. Maybe it's an agency that is working with his LinkedIn or not. But I established a contact with someone that answered. And they
Hmm.
might be people that answer, there might be people that don't. And I think that the most common mistake is approach people that you don't know trying to sell stuff, right? When you approach people in that way, well, persons will say no. But if you connect with a human, try to see there's something in common. We have this common friend, we have this common community, or whatever. I want to learn from you, or whatever. Uh, they're more likely, there's more opportunities to connect. And last but not least, the follow up. And this is impressive how many leaders that I've mentored and worked with fall in that. They start connecting, but they don't follow up. And
Mm,
follow up is important. It's like, if you have a friend and you never call your friend, you never say hello, you never send anyone. So do you expect this person to be in your life like close? Well, no, right? So
of course.
you need to follow up and to build the relationship. So that was a long answer, but that is actually how I make things happen. With people that I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, it's interesting what you said, and something very simple, but I think people don't do enough is the human element of it. At the end
Mhm.
of the day, we are not consumers and buyers, we are people, right? And we all want that human connection, and making time for that is all the difference. I know it's bad because now I'm in Italy. My family and my friends are in the US, and it sounds terrible, but I actually need to put a reminder in my calendar to reach out just for the basic checkups. How's the baby? That sort of thing. And it's not that I don't care, it's not that I don't think about it, but you have to make time for those things in your personal life and in your
Yeah,
professional network as well.
that is true. And I mean, if you set up like 10 minutes every day, like I will brush my teeth. I mean, as part of your daily routine, I will text two
Yeah.
persons today, two persons tomorrow, whatever. So you get used to that without even thinking, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit in terms of all of your international experience that you've had. And a lot of folks, especially early careers, they're interested in an international lifestyle. There's the nomad, digital working, all of those things. So can you give us an idea of how has it been working between different cultures and different even cultures in terms of companies as well? What has your experience been like and any advice there?
Fascinating. I mean, I believe that if you open up to be part of the culture and learn and, take advantage of whatever you are doing, you will enjoy the ride. And that's part of life, right? Because there are cultural differences and cultural nuance that you need to know. Sometimes language can be a barrier, but then you need to work harder on learn the language. You need to understand what are the accepted things in that culture, and you need to just try to be embedded in this culture. But I guess there are some barriers, of course, because if you are stiff, like, I am who I am, and I came here to work. But if you really, like, lose yourself, and open yourselves to learn and to understand a lot of observations first, so you know exactly what people do, how they do it, how they talk to each other, if they go to lunch, if they stay at the office, grabbing a sandwich. I mean, there's very different condition. And I always say this to people that is scaling companies to Latin America, and they have headquarters like in US or in Europe, and they don't understand. Say, in Latin America, you need to establish a relationship with a client. This is not about just sales, it's different because in US you maybe get a client through a call, and then you sit with a client and you get things done very easily. Here you need to go and have a breakfast and maybe a coffee, and then, oh, like, come to this event and come whatever. After seeing each other 4 or 5 times, maybe they are ready. People need to trust. So you need to learn that, because if you come and you say, well, yeah, I love Mexico because, and this is what people mostly remember of Mexico, have great beaches, tequila, the mariachi, and, they might remember the donkey and the cactus, what they have. That's kind of the image of Mexico, the spring break stuff. And then people arrive to Mexico City and they say, my God, this is crazy. This is a great city full of cultural events, like a great vibe. Like, it's a financial district. There's a lot of culture and Mexican items, but there's a lot of progress and, so when you come open to absorb, and when you go to other country, first thing is understand. Try to get local. Try to get to know people that is local. Understand. Ask, and in the meantime, you will learn, and in one day you will be like, acting like a local, and that helps a lot because people say, "Oh my goodness, I thought that you were being here like for years, and you just have 2 months." Yeah, because I'm part of the gang now, right? Like, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for me, it's all about that. Human beings, we are socials, like, we need community, we need human touch. So whenever you go in another country, of course you create like some communities within work, but also there's a lot of expats groups and people that create this events and things to explore. And all of a sudden you start meeting one people and other people. And if you do the networking system, block time for those. And all of a sudden you are, surrounded by people in other countries. So it's awesome. And then you might learn one thing of another.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I have the same situation in Italy because US is a very fast, direct culture. You're right, you can make cold calls and people will buy when you do that without really establishing that. Even sometimes when you ask people to lunch or dinner, they're not interested in that.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
have no interest. Here in Italy, I mean, it is a whole event. Everything is, you need to know about their families, their kids, everything. So you're right. It's important to know that because I don't think you could be successful otherwise without really embracing the culture that you're stepping into.
True, totally true. And you know what?
Yeah.
I create on a space, and it's like as simple as networking dinners. And I do that like every
Mhm.
6 to 8 weeks. And I started the first one because a friend of mine from Colombia came, and he's an expert on LinkedIn, and he said, Susie, let's do a networking dinner. So
Mhm.
you bring some people, I bring some people, and it's gonna be like 6, 12 persons. So we create an invitation, and I say, well, maximum 12 person. And I start inviting, and I say, you can bring someone, you can bring someone. And then all of a sudden we had 26 people in the restaurant. So it was crazy, but it was
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
So I did the
Yeah.
other one and the other one and the other one. And the last one, I sent the invitation the last Thursday, 9 p.m. And I sent, to some people that I know, whatever. It was crazy because by the Friday at 9 a.m., I had 30 persons confirmed. So,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
and the cards say 20 maximum. I mean, this is only for invitation, 20 maximum. And what is funny is, I mean, I knew that the place in where we're hosting the dinner have a maximum capacity of 32. So I say, well, you know what? I will launch like 30, 32 invitation, and I know it's gonna be like 20. Oh, forget about 20.
Right.
I already have like in 12 hours, I got the 30 persons confirmed. So sometimes you need to lead what you want to create because I've been in tables with, president that he said, well, I'm waiting for them to do or to create this dinner or this event or this offsite. And I say, why don't you do that? What do you lead it? And this is a great advice for your audience. Don't wait for others to
Yeah.
do what you want. Just take the opportunity and do it by yourself and create. If you're not invited, to that dinner that you want to go, create your own dinner and then invite them and change the game rules on your favor. So I guess it sounds easier said than done. But if you do the first one and the second one and the third one, and you will actually enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It sounds simple, but it's just about getting started. It's about being consistent and putting yourself out there
Yes.
is like just the basics of it. So,
Yeah,
tell me a little
absolutely.
bit more on your business and what you're working on now.
Well, I'm super happy with what I'm doing because I guess, sometimes in life you find your way, and connect with your purpose. And when that happens, it's like magic, so I advise companies that are scaling up in Latin America, whether they are like US or Europe based and they don't have a proper team here. So I do have a team. So we help and support their commercial strategy, like mostly marketing and sales. And I'm working as well with companies within LATAM that are scaling up to other countries within Latin America or even in their own countries, but they are entering in a new revenue streams or innovation part of the portfolio. It's about growth and scaling up companies in different environments. So, and that is great because when you work with companies like that, with all the knowledge that I have from my previous experience, but my new experience, which is, more into the entrepreneurial world, a lot of technology and AI. So I developed like kind of a hybrid model in where I can understand like multinationals and bigger companies, but I can translate that into clear action and fast pace of growth very quickly. So that hybrid approach is been great so far, and that is what I do. I do public speakings as well, and I've been lucky because I've been invited to great spaces, and I enjoy that. Actually, looking for board seats as well because I had board seats before, and I was chairman when I was living in Ecuador, but now that I am back in Mexico, actively looking for that. So that's what I do. I'm a mother of a 25-year-old woman because I cannot say that she will be my girl forever. But yeah, but that's part of my job, and I have two canine girls, so we have a nice family.
How nice. I think that you have firstly, your background is absolutely impressive.
Thank you, thank you.
And I think that something that's really valuable to companies, and I think specifically for the startup community that are trying to move fast and fail fast, when they're able to work with someone like you that's been in a space of running multinational businesses, working with large corporations, there's something that you learn in the corporate space that you don't get the experience of with smaller companies. And I love that you're able to provide that acceleration and also that really like global corporate perspective that I think nowadays people just say like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." But you've gained so much through that process too.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is right and is perfect because the combination is what is stronger. Have this structure and the knowledge of a big
Mhm.
global corporation, but translate into how can I move fast and pivot. And that's why in my methodology, I develop like a 90 days plans, and you create a vision for your company, but 90 days
Mhm.
plan with a sequence And, I had the fortune to learn from best consultants in the world, great minds, great companies, and now created my own methodology and model. So it's part of what I do. And I enjoy, with these companies because it's very easy to set up some rules and focus on less things and just start rolling, and it's fascinating how
Hmm.
fast you can really change the trajectory of a company when you have this clear structure, great marketing, great commercial system, technology that I call it. This is like, diamonds, it's like something like this, the magic. You put some technology and there's just the combination, it's great. So yes, it's fascinating for startups, when they have an MVP already running. That is important because sometimes your people call me and say, "Oh, well, I'm finding out what to do." I think, well, I can help you, but on a personal note, but it's great too to help people to find out what to do
Yeah.
in the early stage of their career. But I have a lot of people, on the second stage when they go out of a corporation and all that knowledge and they say, well, what should I do? Because I don't know what to do with all this knowledge and all this experience. It's interesting. It's been an interesting journey.
Amazing, amazing. So, one question that I ask all of my guests that come on.
Yeah.
So, what is something that you didn't know as your early self, early in your career, and once you found out and you discovered changed everything for you?
I believe there's two things that I that literally changed my life, and no one tell you this. And I think the first one is the networking and how when you work and you do all those things, but you need that visibility, in your career. That just it's just happen when you do your networking homework, like and now you can do this visibility through social media, personal brand, you can create kind of what is your digital footprint and align that with what you want in the future. So I wish someone told me that before, that visibility and this networking works for you very well. I guess second is like financial stability. If you start young, I mean, when you have a job where you can do investment savings, when you get to the second part of your life, you are way more easy and relaxed because you have some basic needs covered. So I guess financial education is someone that no one told me. I was working and learning on my way, but I think, and especially for women, that is a game changer.
I think that's completely true. It's the same in the US, it's the same here in
Yeah,
Italy, that financial literacy is I couldn't tell you why we don't learn it, but it doesn't seem like any of us do. But and
yeah,
you're right, I think
exactly.
it gives you a lot more flexibility at a certain point of your life to say, "I can go start my own business. I can take that big leap." So, I love that. So, Susie, thank you so much for joining. It was an absolute pleasure, and, where can we follow up with you and connect with you after?
Well, I have a beautiful website, www.susanagoitia.com. And if you want to connect in LinkedIn, I will be happy, Susana Goitia as well, or any of the social media that probably you are in, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Thread, like you name it, YouTube. And I will be in Susana Goitia as always. So it's very nice to be here with you today. Thank you very much for the opportunity and for this great conversation.
Thank you so much.